Public Health Delta and Menominee counties is working to collect patient information from Billerud mill workers with blastomycosis. TV6's Annette Giacchino explains what's unfolding so far and how the major employer is responding.
Tonight, we're learning why the investigation of blastomycosis among employees of Escanaba's Billerud Mill may take some time. Right now, Public Health Delta and Menominee counties says it is working to collect patient information. The department says this is vital in finding the source of an infection.
To try to better understand the point of exposure and to what we can do to prevent continuation of that disease within the community.
PHDM was first notified on February 28th of an atypical pneumonia among several mill workers. The number of infected quickly increased to 8 by March 7th, 15 by March 9th, and now 35. The state averages 25 cases a year. The health department says blastomycosis is one of 78 reportable communicable diseases.
Or even just a condition of interest to the state that they're looking to collect data on can make it to that list. It's usually something that can be transmitted from person to person, but not all the time.
Blastomycosis does not spread between people, but is instead caused by breathing in the spores of the Blastomycosis fungus, which is common in the UP. Miller says if someone is infected, the case must be reported to a local health department.
Either the physician reports directly, or honestly, a lot of stuff we get directly from labs. You know, certain positive lab results are flagged. They're sent over to our Michigan Disease Surveillance System, where we find them because we're checking that database daily for cases.
Miller adds after a case comes to the department's attention, staff members get in contact with the person.
Asking them questions, collecting data, maybe from a provider office, maybe requesting some of their medical records. It's interesting to note that the Public Health Code, allows us to have access to this information when it's one of these reportable conditions.
While all infected individuals are employees of Billerud, the mill is not yet confirmed as a site of infection. However, the Escanaba Mill's Vice President of Operations says the company has taken precautionary steps. Those include cleaning high traffic areas and ventilation systems, encouraging employees to wear provided N95 masks, and working with an industrial hygienist. On Friday, the operations VP sent us a statement saying at Billerud, the health and safety of our employees is always our first priority. We are very alarmed and concerned with the illnesses our employees are experiencing. In addition, Billerud's communication team says the company is in constant communication with PHDM and that the investigation could take some time. Annette Giacchino, TV6 News, Escanaba.
Thank you, Annette, for that comprehensive report. Now, the Billerud Mill employs 830 people in Delta County. We begin your early news with continuing coverage on blastomycosis at the paper mill in Escanaba. One of the unions representing mill workers spoke to TV6's Escanaba Bureau reporter Grace Blair. She shares how the union is helping sick employees.
USW Local 21 is the largest union at the Billerud paper mill in Escanaba.
We represent 670-ish employees at the Billerud paper mill. We are the largest of the three unions that represent employees there. The Teamsters and IBEW also represent.
Public Health Delta Menominee County says there are 17 confirmed and 59 probable blastomycosis cases, totaling 76 cases in Delta County. The common thread, every person works at the mill. Blastomycosis is a fungal infection from moist soil, trees, and leaves. Symptoms are similar to other respiratory infections, and it cannot be spread person to person.
Everybody's interest is the same, and that's the health and safety of the employees at the mill, whether they're union, salary contractors, or anything.
Right now, the Local 21 union is working with Billerud, the health department, and the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health to determine where the fungal infection came from.
There's an ongoing investigation to try to determine sourcing, but also to establish some change in protocols and practices to mitigate risk of exposure moving forward.
Senator Ed McBroom believes everyone is working well as a team to keep employees safe.
I haven't sensed any resistance from community leaders or from the mill leadership to try and get to the bottom of this as quickly as possible.
And on Sunday, there will be a pancake breakfast at the Local 21 Hall on Sheridan Road, hosted by Women of Steel.
Which is a free will donation. There will be pancakes, sausage, bacon, ham, eggs, juice, coffee.
It begins at 7 in the morning and ends at 2 in the afternoon. All money raised will go to sick mill employees. Grace Blair, TV6 News, Escanaba.
We're continuing our coverage tonight on blastomycosis. Apologize for the technical difficulties there. Cases continue to rise in Delta County linked to the paper mill. Now we are breaking down what we know about the infection and how it's impacting your lives. Now TV6's Escanaba Bureau reporter Grace Blair joins us live from the Bureau to share what she learned today about symptoms from the fungus. Grace?
Thank you, Cody. Today I spoke with an infectious diseases professor at the University of Michigan. We talked about blastomyces, that's the fungus that causes blastomycosis, and how it interacts with humans. Take a look.
But this is something that I know the docs up in that area, particularly the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, have a lot of experience in treating.
Right now, there are 21 confirmed and 76 probable blastomycosis cases in workers at the Escanaba Billerud paper mill. Blastomycosis comes from the Blastomyces fungus, which can be found naturally in soil, leaves, and trees in the UP.
Blastomyces is a fungus. It lives as a mold in the environment, but then when it's in your body, it acts as a yeast. Many people are exposed to it over your lifetime, just depending on where you live, where you visited, but only very few people actually become ill from the fungus.
Kathleen Linder is a clinical assistant professor in infectious diseases at the University of Michigan. She says fungus concentration could be why there are so many cases at Billerud.
Knowing kind of the situation going on with the paper mill up north, my guess is that there was probably one kind of tree or series of trees that had a lot of the mold on it. As it goes into the paper mill, the mold is aerosolized and shot into the air, and then anyone who breathes it in can be at risk of developing disease.
Because it's a fungal infection, blastomycosis cannot be spread person to person. Linder says most people who are infected won't have symptoms.
In some cases, people with a weakened immune system, whether it be from immunosuppressing medicines like chemotherapy or from underlying conditions, if the immune system can't control a fungus, those people are more likely to have it go throughout their body.
Less than 1% of people will have cases where the fungus enters their lungs. And if that happens, there is a 30% chance of death. So far, one person has died from this outbreak. Tomorrow, I plan to talk with the vice president of Billerud's Escanaba Mill operations and their response to the outbreak. And on Friday, we expect to get updated numbers from the county health department. Reporting live in Escanaba, Grace Blair, TV6 News. Cody?
Thank you, Grace, for following this so closely. Well,
Hello, I'm Grace Blair, TV6's Escanaba Bureau reporter. Right now I'm in our studio with Brian Peterson, Billerud's Vice President of Operations at the Escanaba Paper Mill. According to the latest information we have from Public Health Delta Menominee counties, there are 21 confirmed and 76 probable blastomycosis cases in workers, and the mill has been idled. Brian, thank you for joining me, driving us away to talk with me today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes. So the mill is idled right now. What's kind of happening at the mill?
Well, as you know, this is a very complicated situation we're in. We've been working with authorities since the very beginning to get cleaning done, but we got to the point last week after looking at what NIOSH had recommended for the next level of cleaning, and we decided that the best way to do that was to get as many people out of the mill as we can, because it's just too disruptive to try to do it with everybody in the mill. So we started that process Friday. We have the mill idled. We started our deep cleaning yesterday afternoon, and we're just a day into it.
So how will a restart be determined?
Well, we have a long list of things we're going to clean. We think we can get that done in the amount of time that we have, but we're continuing, that's continuing to evolve, of course, but we'll get all the stuff on our list done before we get restarted.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Now, a concerned family member did reach out to us and said that while some of the mill employees will not be at the site during the idle, others are supposed to be coming in. Yep. So what sector of employees is she referring to, and how do you determine which ones come in and which ones stay home?
Well, that's a great question. So first of all, our employees aren't doing any of the cleaning. That's all contractor certified to do this type of cleaning. And so once we decided to idle the mill, we have to have a minimum amount of staffing there because we have operating permits we have to operate. It's still winter around here. We still have freezing conditions. So we have a steam, we're still running a boiler. So we made a list of the the employees that we need, bare minimum staffing to run the mill. And then from there, HR worked with our unions to get that staffed. And they're working, it's roughly 20 to 25 people at a time, each shift, right?
Right. So what is your message to those concerned family members?
We felt like to get this next level of cleaning done is to get the all employees out. The employees who are left there, we will keep them away from the cleaning areas. Much easier to keep 20 to 25 people out than maybe 250 or 300 people out. And we have asked all employees who are on the mill site, including me, to be fit test with an N95 mask, just in case there's some amount of time that we just can't do that. Then we would ask people to wear an N95 mask.
So kind of switching gears here to the earlier days of the outbreak, we had some viewers contact us asking us to look into it because they wanted to know what was going on at the beginning. Can you explain how Billerud began asking health experts to get involved and what the process was on your end?
Yeah, so we got a call from County Health that we had 5 probable cases. Of course, none of us are blastomycosis experts, and the very next day, first thing we did was called an industrial hygienist and engaged him and their company. Like, what is blastomycosis? Where does it come from? All the normal questions we all have, right? And as we learned that, we quickly realized by the end of that first week that we're going to need a lot more help, right? So we started engaging with, of course, we engaged with County Health, State Health, and then we called NIOSH and started trying to understand what NIOSH could do to help us. So it was a full court press pretty much from the day one. I have a few people I set aside. This is your full-time job to work on this. So.
Mm-hmm. And now you mentioned you guys are working on cleaning the mill. Is UV light a factor?
Excuse me?
UV light?
Not that I'm, as part of the cleanup process?
Yes.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
But we have several other contractors coming through the mill, but no, not at this point.
All right. So we've seen through PHDM releases that health experts are working to find the source of blastomyces. What are some specific sources being investigated?
Well, of course, we still don't know root cause, and it's a very complicated and unusual situation. So what we've done as cases have come in, and we've worked with County Health and NIOSH to say, hey, here's where the employees work, what is in common between them. And we're taking that along with the complexity of the cleaning in a particular area, and that's how we've come up with the list that we need to get cleaned. Yeah.
So when Billerud took over the mill, were there any processes that were changed which would have potentially contributed to an increase in development of blastomycosis or blastomyces in the mill?
None that I know of, no. Nothing. I mean, we're still operating the mill the same as we were.
Right.
Yep.
Just a change of hands.
Yes, just a change of hands. As you know, we have a transformation project coming, but that hasn't really gotten going in earnest quite yet. So.
Right, and there are people concerned about that process. Is that still moving forward?
Yeah, we're still full steam ahead on the we're still full steam ahead on the transformation program, for sure.
That's definitely exciting to hear.
Oh, it's very exciting.
Yes.
In fact, I would say, the way that we've pulled together as a mill community and all the help is just, for me as the vice president, has proved that we have the right people to do this transformation program. We all get how rare this is, and we didn't choose this, so right. It's really been humbling to watch how people have reacted.
Absolutely. Yeah. So in releases through email correspondence, we've been told that Billerud is continuing to pay its employees while the mill is being idled. Are they receiving their normal compensation?
Yeah, we chose not to lay anybody off, keep people fully compensated with benefits while we're idled.
Yeah. And I'm sure that's a relief to your employees.
It's surely a relief to their employees, absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely. And it's no secret that these medical bills that some of your employees are getting in are expensive, and based off of the death on one employee, this can lead in cases to a death. So what is Billerud doing to potentially help that cost?
Yeah, so that has been, my team has been, we've been laser focused on trying to find root cause, because we obviously can't continue to operate this mill this way. In the meantime, we've had a group of people that working on the workman's comp, and just this afternoon we've started putting communications out to employees that we're starting to process workman's comp claims. Even though we haven't found a source to the mill, we recognize the financial impact of some people with wages and hospital bills is significant enough that we just need to start processing the workman's comp claims.
Yeah. And the Escanaba Mill is such a huge part of Delta County because you guys employ so many people.
Yeah.
So what's your message to all of Delta County right now?
Well, first of all, this is a very rare event, and those from around here know that. Those from around here also know that we are a very resilient people in the UP, And this mill and this community has been through a lot, right? And has always gotten through it. You know, as long as we continue to work together, I think we will persevere. I mean, I think the employees, the union leadership, the county health, state health, the federal help we've had, it's just been tremendous. And I'm very confident that we will too get through this and then get moving on with the transformation program.
Is there anything else you want to add?
No, just that. It's a very rare situation we're in. We've had so much help from CDC to NIOSH and just lots of experts to help us understand where is it, right? What is going on? And it's a very complicated situation, but we are going as fast as we can and getting as many people as we can. Hence, you know, taking the decision to idle the mill and let's just get this done. Yeah. So.
Well, thank you again, Brian, for taking the time to come in with me today.
Okay, well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. And the entire interview will be on our website at uppermichigansource.com or on the TV6 and Fox UP mobile news app and on our streaming apps.
We begin your early news with continuing coverage again. 2 UP lawmakers are sharing their thoughts on the blastomycosis outbreak at the Escanaba-Billerud paper mill. State Senator Ed McBroom and State Representative Dave Preston represent Delta County in Lansing. And TV6's Justin Vantoff tells us what they are doing to help.
Blastomycosis continues to affect Escanaba-Billerud paper mill workers. There are 104 cases and 1 death associated with the outbreak, according to the latest update Friday from Public Health Delta and Menominee counties. Senator Ed McBroom says his team is letting state and federal crews work to address the workplace infections.
It's not like other situations where we've been in where the government's letting us down and dropping the ball and we have to get in there and get after them. At this point, they are working really hard to get to these answers and to provide the relief that we need. And it's best to get information from them as we can, but also not get in their way and not keep asking them to do something they can't possibly accomplish.
Representative Dave Preston says all parties involved have stepped up to help the workers.
Everybody wants to see this come to a resolution. The company, the corporation has really stepped up. The unions have stepped up for their membership. In my mind, it's just a great example of when labor and manufacturing get together to do what's best for the business, for the people, and for the community.
January, the mill was given $200 million for improvements from a state supplemental spending bill. It is part of a larger $1 billion investment to modernize the mill. Preston says he is confident the outbreak will not prevent these future investments.
People seem very concerned as to whether or not the Billerud project will continue, and I have no doubt that it will. There's been no signals that Billerud has wavered in any way, shape, or form. They're committed to the project. They're committed to the Upper Peninsula.
McBroom says while there is no legislative action underway connected to the outbreak, it does not mean that it won't happen in the future.
So far, no one's brought to any of my colleagues that I'm aware of a legislative issue that we would write a new bill for or pass something for. It doesn't mean it won't come along. But at present, nobody has requested anything that I'm aware of.
McBroom and Preston encourage mill workers who are affected to reach out if they need help accessing local resources. Justin Van Hoff, TV6 News.
Thank you, Justin. And as we have told you before extensively, the cause of the blastomycosis outbreak is still unknown at this time. Crews are working on the cleanup, but are unsure how long it will take. The mill was idled last week and is expected to be idled for 2 more weeks.
Investigation continues into the blastomycosis outbreak among Escanaba-Billerud mill workers, which started in March. Public Health Delta Menominee counties said in total the department has seen 120 cases. That number, according to PHDM, is 2 more than last reported on May 19th. Those 2 were reported in late May. Snyder said the last onset of illness among employees and visitors to the mill was May 3rd. PHDM said the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health is still analyzing the data it collected in April. That was done as part of the health hazard evaluation the agency conducted at the mill in April.